Hello everyone, this is Chase the Channel. My name is Kirill and we talk about watches here. Today we have a racing chronograph from Seiko, a representative of the Racing Sports sub-collection. This is not the first time we have this sub-collection. Today it's a layered blue dial and a metal bracelet. This model is called Seiko SSB407P1 and you can purchase it at my store chasetheclub.com. The link will be in the description. The watch dial, of course, makes a great impression, giving the model a special charisma. And the case doesn't lag behind, actually. Look, it's almost flat, slightly curves around the lugs, and here there's also a sharp bevel, very samurai-like, similar to, accordingly, the samurai cases of Seiko. And the right side, well, here the automotive theme immediately comes into play. Of course, the crown is around 3 o'clock with protective flanges, and next to it are 2 buttons for the chronograph. But the top button, that's something. A red rim, it protrudes high, stands out. Of course, here there's a reference to a car piston, visually very similar, plus this button refers to the first wrist chronograph watch, Seiko Crown Chronograph model of 1964. So that's such a dual purpose. The bezel comes coated in black with the side part matte, matching the side part of the case, and this bevel is glossy. And on top protrudes the flat Hardlex glass. Hardlex is well known to us. Then under the glass we finally move on to the dial, to this layered one, with different colors, different shades. It looks incredible. On the outer edge there's a tachymetric scale followed by indices. Not simple ones, multifaceted too, shiny with a matte surface. Attention to every detail. Then, moving closer to the center, we see a small perforation, and the lower part of the dial has a textured structure. It has 3 sub-dials and a date window. The date window, by the way, the black disc doesn't draw any extra attention. The second hand is shifted to the 6 o'clock area, 24-hour indication and chronograph minutes up to 60 minutes. By the way, note that everything related to speed in this watch is highlighted in red. This is the rim, the chronograph start button. This is the chronograph second hand, which jumps in small steps of 1/5 second. This is the chronograph minute hand, and essentially the tachymeter inscription. Stop is also on the top. Reset is sharp on the bottom. And moreover, it has 10 atmosphere water resistance, so basically you can even swim with them. And I remind you, we had a model from this sub-collection. It was on a textile strap. It also had an interesting color design. Well, as for the internals, it's the 8T63 mechanism. Accordingly, a chronograph up to 1 hour, accuracy of 1/5 second. But if, of course, this isn't enough for you, Seiko has models for every taste. There is a model with a 12-hour chronograph, already the 8T67 movement. If precision is lacking, there is a chronograph with 1/20th second accuracy powered by solar energy and the V176 movement. In general, Seiko chronograph collections are rich in design, rich in possibilities. Here is a kind of middle ground. Here the main attention is paid to the 24-hour scale. It's absent in those 2 models, but present here. So this is more directly urban use. Well, the back cover is standard, Seiko style, no surprises here. The setup also doesn't foretell any surprises. 2 positions. By the way, the hands move smoothly on the crown. So you can precisely set the time minute by minute. Date change starts very early, around 10 p.m. The number is already changing and finally flips somewhere between 10 to 5 minutes before midnight. Of course, there's luminescent coating on the hands. As for the setup, first position, here we change the date by the hour hand. Yes, luminescent material on the hands and even on the rectangle around the 12 o'clock area. It's a pity, of course, that the other indices are not illuminated. Because of this, readability in the dark suffers a bit. They fit perfectly. These are one of the few steel analog watches that fit perfectly on my wrist with a circumference of 16.5 centimeters. All because here the focus is precisely on small sizes, and the height at the edges of the lugs is 48 millimeters, and the diameter is only 41 millimeters. Well, the thickness is 12.5 millimeters. I wouldn't say it's very large either. In fact, the model turned out to be quite compact. The bracelet is also steel, satin finished with polished side edges. We thought not, but here too is satin finishing, meaning there's no polishing on the bracelet at all. It turns out polishing is only on the case back and here on the bezel. Everything else is satin finished. Such a pragmatic approach to avoid accumulating unnecessary scratches. And by the way, here is the bracelet, continuing the topic about the perfect fit on my wrist. The bracelet is up to 20 centimeters. Not up to 21 centimeters, that is slightly smaller than the standard size. Again, the focus is on small and medium wrists, short Seiko branded clasp, and the total weight is 140 grams. In principle, the watch is not heavy. This is of course a dynamic chronograph, especially due to its red elements and standout button. The perfect combination, I think, will be with sportswear, a sporty style, and on a bare wrist with polo shirts, especially in the summer period. In conclusion, I can note that I really like these racing sports dials from Seiko. I like their multi-layered design. I like how rich they are in details. Just take a look. The hour indices have different finishes. Again, this perforation, the ribbed structure of the lower part, the interior of the sub-dials has a circular structure. Overall, it seems like they've piled up a lot, but it actually looks harmonious, not flashy. Personally, I only have positive emotions from these models. And they go well with both textile straps and bracelets, which is rare. That's why the series is rich in various options. But in all of them, we find an interesting button, an automotive button, a dynamic button. Of course, it might scare someone with its dimensions, but that's a unique feature. Overall, the model turned out to be outstanding. And if you've been looking for an automotive chronograph, be sure to check out the Racing Sports sub-collection from the conceptual series Sports by Seiko. Besides this version, we have options on textile straps and steel ones, so there's something for every taste, once again. And of course, at attractive prices. In conclusion, I'd like to know your opinion on this model. Be sure to leave it in the comments below the video. If you liked it, give a like and subscribe to the channel. That's all. Goodbye, everyone.